back during COVID, when we had quarantine and lockdown going on, I was in a relationship with this girl. And this was like my first serious relationship. After about a year, things started to go a little south and we ended up breaking up. And this was like my first major breakup since it was my first major relationship. And it caused me a lot of mental stress and almost anxiety of not being comfortable in my own skin and loving myself. And I realized this is the time where I found out about self improvement. Stuff like learning how to master your mind, calm your mind, gain stillness, be in the present, and master your overthinking, and so on. And I learned stuff like meditation, how to properly meditate, be in the present moment, focus on your senses and your surroundings, journaling so you can reflect on your inner self, and tracking your habits, doing good habits, and ensuring you're consistently following good behaviors and engaging yourself socially, all other good self improvement stuff. And I was improving myself. I started to find more peace in my own mind about my current situation and worked on building a better version of myself. But there's one thing that I didn't really find myself improving. One area that I found myself over the years just having problems with. And no matter how much self-improvement I did, no matter how much meditation, how much reflection I did, I couldn't really find why this was a problem and how I could fix this problem. And that was being myself around others, when I'm doing work, creating a business, learning a skill. I didn't know how to be the authentic version of myself and show others that I'm comfortable in who I am and this is me. This is the true version of myself. I found myself sometimes conforming to society and just trying to fit in, and whenever I'm having a conversation with somebody, I found myself just trying to constantly talk about the other person, or if they brought up something about me, maybe it was a controversial topic, I just say something that I think they would agree with just to keep this conversation comfortable and not cause any disagreement or problems if I say something they don't like. And I really didn't like this about me because I realized this stopped me from having true, authentic relationships, and especially with people who would love me and be friends with me for who I am. And I felt like when I'm at home by myself, I have a tendency to be me. But when I'm doing anything else, like doing work or engaging with other people, I have a tendency of just changing my behavior and in a way that the other person would like me to be in. But the reality is other people wouldn't like me to be this fake version of me. They would want me to be the authentic version of me. And that could cause some relationships to be cut off. And I was scared of having that conversation and having that kind of personality. So I decided that from then on, anything I'm going to do, I'm going to learn to be the authentic version of me. So I went down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out how can I become the authentic version of myself. Whenever I was starting businesses, even to the point of making a logo for a specific company, I'd find myself trying to take input of like my close friends, asking them questions about super small details that aren't really as important, but I found myself overthinking still because I couldn't make a decision for myself. And anytime I had a complicated decision where I had two different options to pick, and I've kind of thought through like each of them, there's not really a clear answer on which to pick. It's not clear black and white. I found myself just going to other people for answers and their input on my situation, even if it was something extremely personal to me. So I knew this was a really bad habit when this was getting out of hand, and I was starting to ask other people for input on my own life decisions. So I've made the decision to just tell my friends, yo, if I start asking you guys for advice or input on anything about my life, please just tell me, go figure it out. You're asking me for me advice when you told me you don't want advice. Because I knew it was something that I couldn't control. I had a bad habit of, like I said, asking other people for opinions and input on my own situations, on how to make decisions. And I never knew how to be the authentic version of myself. And I knew the only way to do that is to let the people around me know that I have this problem and to push me to make decisions on my own and not give me advice. And as a result, over time, I started to see myself just forcing decisions, whether it be wrong or right, didn't matter. Just the habit of learning to make a decision was already making me have progress towards my productivity and my focus. Because along with this, another bad habit that redeveloped, that I originally fixed but also redeveloped, was the habit of overthinking and over planning decisions. Like if I had two decisions, not only would I try to get input from other people, but I would spend excess time trying to find the optimal right answer that's going to lead me to making the least amount of mistakes and the least amount of time to get the goal that I wanted. And by doing this, I realized after making this mistake for so long that me spending the time over planning and over analyzing a decision cost me more time and progress than making the wrong decision and learning from that, and then understanding what is right from those failures and moving forward from that. Because let me give you an analogy, because I heard of this analogy as well, and it really kind of put into perspective for me. Imagine you're in a car, you're on a road, you're going down a road, and you come across like a T intersection where you go straight, there's no straight path anymore, it's either left or right. And you're in the middle of the road and you're sitting there in front of the wheel looking, and you're parked now. You don't know whether to go left or right. So you sit there and think, if I go left, maybe that might take me a route that I don't want to go, and it might take too long to figure out where it ends. I don't remember where it goes, but it might not be right. Now, if I go right though, I feel like that might not be the right decision, because it could take me down that other side, that other area where I don't intend to go in, and that could also cause me extra time. And you're just in this position where you're like, trying to think your way through in an environment where you don't know what each path leads to, because you haven't been there before, or you've been there before, but you never really took action at that point and made the right move. So you don't have lessons to learn from. And you find yourself thinking, trying to think your way through, but you find that just wastes time, an hour after hour, when the right decision would be to just go, try left, see what left does. Is left the right decision? Did it take you down where you want to go? You go a little bit, you see, oh no, this takes me here. No, that's not the right place to go. You come back and you go the other direction, because that's the only option left. And through that, you save yourself the mental frustration, the mental hassle, and now you know where you need to go in the right decision, because you learn from actual action, not from overanalyzing. And when I heard this, it kind of put my own situation into perspective, and I realized that I was doing this for probably every decision, even the most minimal decisions, like what color to use as a background of a logo, or what font to use for a video title or video picture, or what title to even put. Should I use this keyword or not? Should I frame it this way? I have a bunch of different options. Which one should I use? Like ChatGPT, which one do you think is better? This, that, blah, blah, like literally going crazy. Like you would call me probably crazy if you saw me doing this stuff, and if you really heard me tell you like all the different situations where I was asking other people for input. But forcing myself to be in a situation where I have to pick a decision, whether it be wrong or right, after a certain amount of time, or after I find myself in a situation where I would normally ask for other people's input, has allowed me to build this skill of just taking action. And over time, you gain a lot of experience, and you realize you get better at picking the right decision, or you get comfortable with doing the wrong thing. Because you have to understand, why do we overthink these decisions? Because our brain is scared of fear and wasting time and making a mistake that's is irreversible. But when you really think about it, if you go down, what's the worst that can happen if you make the wrong decision? What's the worst that can happen? You spent a few extra hours doing something that you're gonna end up scrapping, or you spend a few days on a project that you don't really think is what you want to make, is not the final version of what you want to be. It's not that big of a deal. If you compare it to the amount of frustration you have and the amount of time you spend over analyzing and over planning, it's not that big of a deal. When you start to take action, you truly realize that you learn more when you make the wrong decision, and then learn from it, and then pivot from it, and then go down the right way. You also get a lot of extra lessons, because you know what doesn't work, you know what's wrong, and you can pivot towards what's right and use those lessons to give you a boost as well. Whereas you wouldn't know that if you just sat in your original position, have made no decisions, and try to make the optimal decision based on researching your way out. And you might have even noticed, even researching your way out still didn't lead you to the best decision. So it's a lose-lose situation. You waste time and still make the wrong decision, when you could have just went and made the wrong decision and then learned with a fraction of the time and then went the right way when you found out that that's not the optimal path. So if you have a struggle of something similar to this, where you can't make the right decision, or you can't make decisions, or you have a hard time making decisions and just overthinking decision, I want you to try forcing yourself to make a decision after a short amount of time, regardless of if it's wrong or right. Just force yourself. Treat this as like a game, because I'm telling you from my experience, you're not going to be wasting time making the wrong decision. You're going to be wasting time making decisions on researching more about the optimal decision. That's going to lead you down a rabbit hole of wasted time and wasted effort. When making the wrong decision is going to learn, you're going to learn, and it's going to teach you more about what the right decision is and how to go about it. So if you ever come across a situation where you need to pick between two things, just pick one. Try it. This is why they say dumb people make more money than smart people, or dumb people are like the business owners and smart people are the employees. Because the dumb people don't think. They're like, oh, I have two options. I'm going to try the first one, the left one. And they go and they try it. And it happens to be the right one. But you, the smart guy, on the other hand, you're like, let me research and see that, okay, this is pretty useful, but this could happen as well during this pathway. Let me try this out. Let me see if this is going to happen. How can I optimize to not make this mistake? Oh, then this can also happen. Like, the smart guy is smart, but it's using the smartness in the wrong situations. Yes, having the ability to make these decisions and research and find the optimal like decision is helpful, but us smart people, I consider myself a smart person, like smart person on the spectrum, by the way. We have a tendency to overanalyze and over strategize on even a simple small decision that doesn't really need that much strategy. It wouldn't benefit from putting that much effort into researching and finding the right decision. So put yourself in the position of a dumb person. If you have a friend who's like half retarded, who doesn't know what he's saying and is like dumb, like genuinely dumb, imagine if they're in your shoes. What would they do? What would they do? Do what they would do. It's kind of hard to put yourself in their shoes, but just imagine like they're currently like in your position right now and they want to make one of these two decisions. What are they going to do? What would they tell you to do at least? Do that. I know we're kind of talking about how to be you, but in order to be you, you have to learn to unlearn the bad habits that you've learned. So we're not trying to learn how to be you. We're trying to learn how to be the most authentic, powerful, disciplined version of you that takes action and focuses and has the most productivity. That's the version of you we're trying to get to. That's the real best version of you. We're not trying to be broken you. We're trying to be fixed you. So learn to lean on being a dumb person and just making decisions. And when it's time to be smart, like analyzing data or going over metrics or like structuring something, that's when your time to be smart. When you have like that specific knowledge, that's when the time to be smart comes into play and you can leverage that. So focus on learning how to be you through taking action and not getting stuck between two decisions and over analyzing a decision. After taking action for a long period of time, one thing I've kind of learned is after you train your mind to take action, now don't get me wrong, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to feel uncomfortable in making decisions because your brain is not used to this. Your body is like, oh my God, like, I don't know if I should do this. Like, that's exactly when you have to push. That's when you have to break the wall, because that's the barrier in your mind that set the limiting belief you have in your mind that you can't make this decision. It's going to be wrong. You have to do the old habits you do of researching and analyzing your way through. But that's exactly where you need to push. You need to take action, jump over the wall or break through the wall, actually, and find your way through the dark by navigation. Imagine you're in Minecraft, you have like a blindness potion and you're trying to navigate where you want to go by trying to think your way through. You're not going to figure it out. You got to just walk and figure it out. Imagine you're in a maze in Minecraft with the blindness potion. You can't see anything but like one block around you. So what are you going to do? You're going to lean against the wall. You're going to try to find your way through. You're not going to think your way through. Oh my God, I can't see. Let me actually figure out how to get this blindness potion off me. Actually, that's kind of smart. But like, let's say we couldn't do that. You're going to try to find your way through the maze by trial and error. You're going to try different stuff out. You're not going to think your way through and try to like perfectly navigate without making any mistakes, because failure is necessary. Failure is where learning is made. That's where progress is made. That's where you gather the experiences that are going to help you make the right decision. So focus on still engaging in those self-improvement habits like meditation, journaling, and being yourself. through taking action. But if you have a problem of making decisions and you have a tendency of asking other people for input, lean on forcing yourself to just do something. Do something. Anything but nothing. Doing nothing is worse than doing the wrong decision. Or overanalyzing is better than making the wrong decision. You will get to the right decision faster by making the wrong decision first and then going the right direction versus overanalyzing, overplanning, and then hoping it's the right decision. You might even pick the right decision in the beginning. Who knows, bro? Who knows? That's why you need to have like a subtle amount of time of, okay, this feels right. Screw it. Let's try it. Screw it. Let's try it. Have that mindset. Just try it. See how it goes. You're not going to die. You're not going to die. You're not going to end up going poor, homeless on the side of the street begging for money. Even if you do, you're still not dead. You're going to get food. You're going to find water. You're not going to die. And if you're young, you're living under your parents, you're literally going to still have a roof over your head, a comfortable bed to sleep in, wake up the next day, go to school, do whatever work, find a job, whatever it is. Worst case situation. You're fine. It's not life-threatening. Our brain thinks it's life-threatening, but it's really not. Learn how to make decisions on your own and continue engaging in self-improvement. Personally, I think I've kind of fell off with self-improvement over the past year. I became inconsistent with it after doing it for about 4 years. And the past few months, I've been trying to get back into it. Not trying. I've been getting back into it, involving myself back into it, and engaging in these habits like meditating, journaling, self-reflection, being present, being in the moment, socializing more, and building the right habits. And I found one of the hardest things to do for a lot of people my age or in general is learning how to be the most authentic version of themselves and embrace the most powerful, disciplined version of themselves to find a life that feels purposeful, fulfilling, and gives them drive. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be hard throughout the process. It's not going to be easy just because you find something fulfilling and you build yourself into this disciplined man who has this fulfilling life. Doesn't mean it's going to be hard. It just means the goals you're working towards are going to feel fulfilling as you progress and get past those milestones and achieve those goals that you originally set in place, those stepping stones. They're going to give you a sense of fulfillment and drive that are going to boost you because you know the work you're doing is for a greater purpose. And I believe that a lot of people lack that feeling and that understanding, especially in my age, in their teens or in their 20s. And having that initial foundation set in place is going to put them so much more ahead than other people. And my goal here is to share my knowledge with that and my experience with that over the past several years of trying to find that authentic, most powerful version of myself. So this is a new channel as well. So if you enjoy this video, drop a like, subscribe, press the noties so you guys can be posted whenever I make a new video. But I also have my school community as well if you guys want to join that. It's recently built, so check it out. There's a lot of info on there. And I'll catch you on the next one.